on to day 4, or video 4 of our characteristics of life notes. I decided to change it up, just put that creepy picture of Frankenstein there. So real quick, we'll talk about really quickly what we went over in the last few videos. So first we started out talking about what makes something alive. Got you started thinking about that. We mentioned cell. Cell is the first characteristic of life. That's the building block of life. It's the smallest unit of life. We talked about the difference in living, non-living, dead, where you are alive, you were never alive, you were alive. We talked about growth. That's just an increase in the number of cells that's getting bigger, whether it's getting taller or whatever. Development is how you change throughout your lifetime. And we talked about how my baby couldn't even sit up in this picture, and now he can run and jump and tear the house up however he wants to. Respond was the last thing. It was what we ended with. This characteristic of life. I think that was 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that was 4. And that's just how you interact with your surroundings. We talked about a stimulus and a response. A stimulus is something that causes change, and a response is your reaction to that change. Like if it starts to rain and you're outside, you would move under the picnic shelter. So the stimulus would be it starts to rain, and the response would be you move under the picnic shelter. So on to day 4. I have this question for you. Are plants alive? Well, we already mentioned that. I spoiled that earlier. I said something like a leaf, fallen leaf. I used as the example for dead. If the leaf was on the tree, then it would be alive. But if it falls off the tree, then it's dead. So yeah, plants are alive. But do they respond? So we're going to watch this video really quickly, and there's no sound to it. It just shows you sort of something happening. So we're going to see about like how plants can respond. There's a couple videos here. So this is the first way. Okay, so as this is finishing up, you will see here that the plants they just start growing typically, but there's something that all of these plants have in common. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. These plants are growing, they're leaning this way. Besides these plants up front, they're sort of at the top, we'll talk about that in just a second. But what is happening? What's the common factor that's over here? Why would these plants be growing that way? Well, if you notice, this is like in a house, it looks like, and here's a window. So outside, there's this thing that's called the sun, and plants need those to grow. So these plants, they know that. They say, okay, we really need as much sunlight as we can get. We're living inside of somebody's house. This is crazy. So the light, like from the lights on the ceiling, that's not good enough. So they are actually, as they grow, they bend toward the light. And it says it right here. This is called phototropism. So it's growing towards the light. Photo means light. So they are growing towards the sun. These plants even fall over. They don't care as long as they can get as close to the sun as possible. They don't care if they have to like lay in the other plant's space to get to that sunlight. These plants up front, they don't have to bend as much because they're right directly next to the window. So they've got plenty of sun. But these plants way in the back, they straight up, they don't have any sun above them. So they have to lean towards that sunlight. So the question was, do plants respond? Yeah, they grow towards the sun. Are there other ways plants can respond to their environment? Let's watch this video, one of my favorite videos. Okay, so everybody knows what that is. That's a Venus flytrap. And typically, if you touch the hairs, the little fibers on the outside of the plant, that will trigger the plant to close. Also, pressure inside of the plant will cause it to close too, which is what that guy was trying to do. Um, so, do plants respond in other ways? Yeah, they can enclose on prey. So that is one way that another way that plants respond. So definitely, plants definitely do respond to their environment. It's not just an animal thing. I just wanted to point that out there really quickly. So the next characteristic of life, I don't know what number we're on. Sorry, but the next number is homeostasis. So write this down. Homeostasis is when organisms regulate and maintain their internal stability. So you have a certain environment inside of you where everything that you have inside of you, like your proteins and all that good stuff, function best in whatever that set environment is. So if it changes, your body wants to sort of get it back to what it needs to be so that you can live your best life. So some examples of homeostasis is your body temperature. So it's typically 98 point something for most people. And a way you can regulate that or maintain homeostasis is by sweating or shivering. So if you get really hot, your body sweats, which actually cools you down. And if you get really cold, your body starts shivering, which actually warms you up. And glucose levels, that's another example of homeostasis. Your pancreas takes care of that. And that's why some people, if you have diabetes, you may have to take an insulin shot because your pancreas doesn't regulate those glucose levels like it should. So that's it for this next video. Really quickly again, plants definitely do respond to their environment. They can grow towards the light and phototropism, or they can respond by closing up on their prey if they are that kind of plant, a carnivorous plant, they're called. And homeostasis, that's just the ability to regulate and maintain your internal environment. So that way your body works the way it should, your cells work the way that they should. Um, Really important. These are two really simple but very common methods of homeostasis. Maintaining homeostasis in humans is your body temperature and your glucose levels. So if you're ever asked a question now or in the future, give us an example of homeostasis, of maintaining homeostasis. You can talk about where you want your body temperature to be a certain temperature. So if it gets too hot, it sweats and cools off. If it gets too cold, it shivers and warms up, and all that good stuff. So in class, we would talk a lot more about the sweating thing because that likes to, people like to get on that topic. If you want me to talk more about sweating and like what it actually does for your body, because I can't remember if we talked about that a lot last year or not. We may have, I can't remember. But if you want me to, let me know and I will talk about it on either a Google Meet in the week or I'll make a video, whatever works for you. But hopefully, I will see you guys soon.